Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
San Diego County Supervisors are calling out insurance companies for canceling homeowner policies and urging the state to take action. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. State Farm was called out by the board as a bad neighbor for its plans to drop policies over the next few months, leaving homeowners and builders with few options. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne has more on the impact.
Bill Kavanaugh is a general contractor in San Diego. He gave us a tour of a project he's working on in rural Vista. And when it comes to fire mitigation, he's checking all the boxes.
Adding fire hydrants, adding fire sprinklers, upsizing your water meters, clearing your land, doing vents around all your homes have to be vented. So
he says all the fire protection adds tens of thousands of dollars to a project.
So that the chance of these things getting caught in a fire are pretty slim, because of all the measures we have taken.
Despite the efforts, Kavanaugh is one of the thousands of customers unable to get full insurance coverage for their homes.
It adds salt to the wounds, and now when you can't get insurance specifically for fire, even though you've taken these measures.
He's had multiple projects placed on hold because the owners are unable to get insurance. Kavanaugh thinks this will begin to have a ripple effect on the housing crisis and economy.
If you slow down the housing starts, general contractors aren't making money, subcontractors aren't making money, suppliers aren't making money, the restaurants that feed the construction workers aren't making money. So the ripple effect, I think, is going to be devastating.
Older homes and older homeowners are also impacted, says Bob Pratt with AARP.
For older adults on fixed income, finding a new coverage can be confusing. It's financially crippling or even impossible. It jeopardizes their ability to stay in their home, preserve their life savings, and threatens loss of something they've worked their life to preserve.
Our ability to locally affect change on this issue is limited. The state's insurance system is broken, and there is difficult work ahead.
County Supervisor Tara Lawson-Raymer is trying to take some action as the state's insurance commissioner attempts to negotiate and stabilize the insurance marketplace. She presented a resolution during Tuesday's Board of Supervisors meeting to oppose the cancellation of insurance policies by large companies. It passed unanimously. And while it won't bring any immediate change, she said it symbolizes the support from San Diego County as the state tries to modernize the insurance system. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Well, like we've seen the last couple of days, the cloudiness tending to kind of hug the coastline over the course of the next couple of days, though we will gradually start to see a bit of a shift here as we head our way toward late week, especially heading in toward the weekend, that will begin to favor increasing amounts of sunshine. Of course, with sunshine, will that have an effect on our temperatures later on this week and into this weekend? I'll let you know coming up here in just a little bit.
A plan to establish a long-term migrant center in San Diego County moved forward today. County supervisors voted 4-1 to use $19.6 million in federal funds for the new Migrant Transition Day Center to assist migrants. In February, the Migrant Welcome Center closed after it ran out of funding from the American Rescue Plan. And since then, Border Patrol has resumed street releases.
We have given the county feedback that we believe that a permanent structure that's a little more isolated isn't the ideal route. Since the Welcome Center closed in February, we've welcomed over 40,000 migrants here at this station alone and have had a lot of success with just providing them basic information to move on with their final destinations.
The funds allocated from FEMA General Reserve is expected to last until 2026. Organizations interested in helping run the migrant center will have to submit proposals to do so in June. Cross-border sewage pollution and record-long border wait times are clear signs of Tijuana's failing infrastructure. In the final installment of a three-part series, KPBS border reporter Gustavo Solis explains how Mexico's upcoming presidential election could impact these issues.
This is the sound of a Tijuana apartment building crumbling to the ground. It is just one sign of the city's inadequate infrastructure. Other signs include outdated wastewater treatment plants, dumping raw sewage into the Pacific Ocean, or thousands of cars waiting up to 4 hours to cross the border into San Diego. All of this comes from decades of neglect and is causing serious environmental problems, from ocean contamination because of cross-border sewage to high asthma rates in communities near those long lines of cars waiting to cross the border. But things are changing, albeit slowly.
In terms of investment and infrastructure, we are actually right now in the middle of big investments.
That's Flavio Olivieri, director of the Center for Excellence in Competitiveness and Entrepreneurship at CETIS University in Tijuana. He's referring to high-profile projects like a new border crossing in Otay Mesa and much-needed repairs to the wastewater treatment plant south of Tijuana. How things change from here could depend on the outcome of Mexico's presidential contest. The two leading candidates in the June 2nd election are Claudia Sheinbaum and Xochitl Gálvez. Both say the environment and infrastructure are high priorities. However, they differ significantly in their approach to these problems. Saúl Sandoval is a professor at CETIS University in Tijuana. He says Sheinbaum's political connections to the current Baja California governor could bring more federal pesos to the region. They are both members of the popular Morena party, founded by current President Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
I think that if Sheinbaum wins, and because of the fact that the Baja California's governors belongs to the same political party, I think communication will be better.
On the other hand, Sheinbaum's political connections could also hurt her on environmental issues. López Obrador has made domestic oil production one of his major priorities, and it may be difficult for Sheinbaum to pivot towards clean energy.
He believed that oil is a very important asset for the country that gives you, to some extent, that strengthens your sovereignty around the world, right? To some extent, he may be right.
López Obrador's embrace of domestic oil production is an example of his belief in centralized power. The Morena party also supports putting the military in charge of major infrastructure projects and managing the border. Gálvez, meanwhile, is a believer in small government, and she's not restrained by López Obrador's policies.
She's more of an engineer and really has pushed for the use of technology. So in general terms, I think that would be something that could be beneficial in terms of operations.
Olivieri is dubious of a more centralized approach.
So the more centralized approach might, have a difficulty in empowering local administrations, where a more decentralized approach, more focused on grassroots and involvement of the community, might provide better solutions if funding, of course, is available.
Regardless of who wins, experts say the border region will get more attention than it has under López Obrador. He has not prioritized the U.S.-Mexico relationship. Rafael Fernández de Castro is the director of the Center for U.S.-Mexico Studies at UC San Diego.
I feel very comfortable, even happy, and I'm optimistic about them because both of them are self-made women. Either choice is very good for Mexico.
But ultimately, Fernández de Castro says local communities along the border cannot depend on the federal government for everything. Local leaders must also step up.
I believe that people from Tijuana and from San Diego and California and Baja California, we really have to get a sense of agency and do the things for ourselves.
It remains to be seen if that local leadership will emerge. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
And KPBS is also hosting a virtual conversation in both English and Spanish about the election, and that airs on Wednesday, May 29th on kpbs.org, along with the KPBS YouTube and Facebook pages. Testimony concluded today in former President Donald Trump's historic criminal hush money trial in New York. The defense rested after calling just 2 witnesses, but we still will have to wait at least a week for closing arguments. Julie Benbrook has all the day's courtroom developments.
After 20 days, both sides have now finished calling witnesses in former President Donald Trump's first criminal trial.
I have no choice. It's not that I like doing this, sitting in an icebox all day for 7, 8, 9 hours.
With another group of allies in the background Tuesday morning, Trump once again slammed the merits of the New York case and the judge presiding over it.
We've won the case by any standard. Any other judge who would have thrown this case out. Any other judge would have thrown this case out.
His defense team called just 2 witnesses, a paralegal for one of Trump's attorneys and Robert Costello, a lawyer connected with key prosecution witness Michael Cohen. During his testimony, Costello butted heads with Judge Juan Merchan. The judge threatened to remove him from the stand after he audibly complained when Merchan sustained objections to the questions he was being asked.
Look, if I was prepping Costello, I would say, like, don't do the whole fight the judge thing. That's not going to help us. But at the end of the day, the substance of the testimony is still very damaging if believed. And if you don't believe it, then you're still right back to Cohen's credibility as a whole, which is irredeemable.
Trump is charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records to cover up reimbursement for a $130,000 payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels to keep her from going public about an alleged affair with Trump. The former president has denied the affair and pleaded not guilty to the charges. Despite repeatedly saying he would be willing to testify in his own defense, Trump did not take the stand. Closing arguments are expected to take place next Tuesday. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Some terrifying moments turned deadly aboard a Singapore Airlines flight overnight. A Boeing jet took off from London when violent turbulence tossed around passengers inside. At least 1 passenger was killed and 7 others have been critically injured. Laura Aguirre reports.
This was not the landing passengers aboard a Singapore Airlines flight from London overnight were expecting. Ambulances, triage tents, and a swarm of medical personnel tending to dozens of injuries suffered by those on board when violent turbulence rocked the Boeing jet mid-flight.
This tragic incident will be investigated to see whether the pilots had gotten a warning that they were coming into a dangerous area.
At least 1 fatality was reported after the diverted plane, originally bound for Singapore, landed safely in Bangkok, Thailand early Tuesday morning. The airline confirmed the death in a social media post, adding that there were 211 passengers and 18 crew members on flight SQ321. Most of the injured passengers suffered cuts and bruises, said an airport official in Bangkok, who added that many on the jet were wearing seatbelts at the time of the turbulence. Singapore's Ministry of Transportation confirmed it has opened an investigation into the incident, and in the same statement said they will deploy their own safety experts to Thailand.
They need to make sure there hasn't been significant fatigue to the structure. It's possible the aircraft will be a total loss.
The plane was a Boeing 777-300. The aircraft maker responded to the deadly event in their own statement, saying the company is standing by to support Singapore Airlines, extends their condolences, and is keeping all of the passengers and crew in their thoughts. Thai authorities say almost 200 passengers are awaiting other flights to their destinations, while some of the injured remain at local hospitals. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
State lawmakers have cleared the way for so-called cannabis cafes to open in cities that want them. The state assembly overwhelmingly passed the bill along with cannabis. These businesses would allow customers to buy food, coffee, non-alcoholic drinks, and enjoy some music. A similar bill was vetoed by Governor Newsom last year, but this bill would prohibit smoking in areas where food is served. Tourism in San Diego is still recovering from the pandemic. KPBS reporter Katie Anastas says hotels and tourist attractions are finding ways to keep visitors in town on the weekdays.
The San Diego Tourism Authority kicked off the summer season with streamers, roller skaters, and local mascots on Tuesday. Chief Operating Officer Carrie Capich says tourism is a vital part of San Diego's economy.
This visitor activity supports 1 in 8 jobs here in San Diego, either directly or indirectly, and it's related all, of course, to this beautiful place that we get to call home. When our tourism industry thrives, the entire San Diego region thrives.
It also funds city services. More than $170 million in hotel occupancy taxes went into San Diego's general fund last year.
So we're talking about the money that fills potholes, that clears storm drains, that maintain our streets and sidewalks.
More than 32 million people are expected to visit San Diego this year. That's slightly more than last year, but still a few million shy of 2019 levels. The Tourism Authority says demand for hotel rooms likely won't reach pre-pandemic levels until 2025. Brad Bayer with the San Diego County Lodging Association says in the meantime, convention goers have been key to filling rooms on weeknights.
And those visitors are taking advantage of not just the conventions, but staying longer for some leisure activities and bringing families and extending their stays.
He says hotels are keeping visitors in town by offering package deals for attractions like the zoo and live music venues. This year marks anniversaries of several San Diego tourist attractions. Petco Park turns 20, Legoland turns 25, SeaWorld turns 60, and the Balboa Theater turns 100. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
Retail sales are feeling the pinch of years of elevated inflation and consumers changing their spending priorities. Some stores are looking for summer sales to heat up, and retail watchers say some areas could see more discounts than others. Karen Kafa has the details.
Inflation has slowed, but it is still taking a toll. Nearly 2/3 of U.S. households say they were worse off last year because of inflation, according to new data from the Federal Reserve. So consumers are focusing more on needs and less on wants. But this Memorial Day weekend will bring a lot of sales and also some more sustained price cuts from some retailers through the summer months.
Ahead of the Memorial Day weekend, dubbed the unofficial start to summer, Target says it is slashing prices on more than 5,000 items to try to draw back consumers weary of inflation. Target joins retailers like IKEA, H&M, and Aldi, which have also slashed prices recently, hoping lower prices spur more spending, both in store and online.
Cost of childcare is up. Cost of food is up. For many people, the cost of rent is up. Just overall cost of living that's causing consumers to be a little bit more cost conscious.
The early summer months can give retailers clues about what 2 key seasons, back to school and the holidays, might look like to close out the year. The first months of 2024 have given some retailers some jitters, with spending slowing down. Retail sales stalled in April, unchanged from March, according to the Commerce Department, and April spending missed the 0.4% increase economists projected, according to FactSet. In the same month 1 year ago, retail sales surged by 3%. For Memorial Day weekend, Nick Wolney, managing editor at CNET, says consumers can expect deals in a wide range of areas.
It is very much a broad shopping holiday. You're going to see deals across a variety of different categories: appliances, electronics, and even mattresses as well. So it's a good time to pay attention to what's on sale this weekend.
Wolney says it's also a time when retailers clean out last year's electronic stock, like TVs and laptops, ahead of back to college and back to school.
And sales aren't just important to consumers or crucial to retailers who offer them. Consumer spending accounts for about 2/3 of the overall U.S. economy. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
2 years after it was bought by Japanese beer maker Sapporo, Stone Brewing today unveiled a near completion of phase 1 of its expansion projects. KPBS North County reporter Alexander Nguyen got a look at the project.
Southern California's largest brewery is about to get bigger. When Sapporo bought Stone Brewing Company in 2022, the plan was to expand the facility to brew both Sapporo and Stone beers. Over the past 2 years, the company added more tanks and packaging lines to increase capacity.
With this momentum, we have big plans.
Zach Keeling is Sapporo Stone Brewing's interim CEO. He says the company aims to become the 10th largest brewery in the nation. It is currently 12th.
And that's a lot of hard work in front of us, but I couldn't be more excited about our prospects. I think the team has done such a remarkable job getting us to this point through the integration.
Sapporo Stone has invested $60 million in expanding its facilities, $40 million in its Richmond, Virginia location, and $20 million here in Escondido.
The $20 million expansion will double the brewery, meaning more beer can be brewed here. But for the city of Escondido, it means so much more than that.
For us, it's jobs, employment opportunities, revenue for the city.
Dane White is the mayor of Escondido. With the expansion, Sapporo Stone added 125 jobs locally. White says that's helping the city close its budget deficit.
Absolutely, it does help solve it. You know, number one, employment, and number two, sales tax. Sales tax is the largest revenue source for the city, so having this big of this part of the economy right here in Escondido certainly helps.
The expansion means that all Sapporo beers sold in the U.S. will be brewed in this country. Eric Fowler, the executive director for the San Diego Brewers Guild, says it also means recognition for the San Diego craft beer scene. Stone Brewing was among San Diego's pioneering craft breweries.
It means recognition. It means that we still have something here that people from outside of San Diego want to capture. And that partnership gives Stone Brewing Company more recognition and support to breed more community within San Diego.
With the expansion nearly completed, Sapporo Stone says the next phase is to grow both brands in the United States. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
Well, rinse and repeat here with the clouds along the coastline for tonight, and some of those clouds can slide their way into the western portion of some of the interior valleys as well for a time, late tonight, tomorrow morning. Overnight low temperatures here, mainly dropping off into the upper 50s, mid-50s here, closer toward Chula Vista and Oceanside. Meanwhile, out over the interior, again, we're going to be, mainly clear toward Borrego Springs as we drop down into the mid-60s. A couple of clouds toward Mount Laguna as we fall down to 48. Here's a look at future satellite and radar as we work our way into Wednesday. And notice again, still toward the morning, not only do we have the clouds here right along the coast, but even towards some of the far western interior valleys, but that will quickly shrink. The clouds will hang on the longest here toward the coastline as they will return later on Wednesday evening. You start to see how they're beginning to slide their way back in from the coast toward, again, some inland locations. So here's the overall view on Wednesday. I mean, it's a dry day, but there will be some cloudiness here to start, especially along the coast, to a lesser degree toward the interior valleys. 70 at Oceanside, the high temperature 95 toward Borrego Springs. And Thursday, again, will also be dry. Again, starting out with some cloudiness, but going beyond this here, heading into toward the upcoming weekend, we'll start to notice a little bit more sunshine here toward the coast, and that will allow temperatures perhaps to climb a bit here and there, right around 69 to 70 degrees. We'll also notice less cloudiness here toward the inland locations as we work our way toward the upcoming weekend. But as we head our way toward the mountainous terrain, this is where we're going to see some changes kicking in as we go towards Sunday. Look at that, 67 degrees. So we're starting to warm things back up here. There will be some wind to contend with later on in the week. We'll also be on the breezy side here Saturday over the deserts, and then a warm up as we head into Sunday. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Justin Pavic.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, Rudy Giuliani is one of a dozen Trump allies charged in Arizona for their involvement in a fake elector scheme. That's at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Homelessness is not a political issue for a group of volunteers helping at the City of San Diego's Rose Canyon Safe Parking Lot. It's personal. And tonight, KPBS education reporter MG Perez has the story of a solution to the problem, helping the people who need it the most.
Happy birthday to you. Behind a piece of delicious birthday cake, and even in the hands holding slices of pizza, are faces we cannot show you, honoring the privacy of people who are not permanently housed right now. They are supported and live in one of 6 safe parking lots run by the San Diego Jewish Family Service. This spot, adjacent to the Rose Canyon Operation Yard, is a partnership funded by the City of San Diego. The state donated a dozen Coleman campers to the city, which then designated them specifically for families needing housing, something many of them never needed before.
This is the first time they're experiencing homelessness. Many of them have jobs. There's just still kind of an income gap. So we're trying to connect them to other resources.
18-year-old Zora Murray wanted to show us who she is so she can tell her story, and it's inspiring.
As of right now, I'm homeless, and I feel like because of being homeless, it doesn't stop me.
Zora has shared this camper with her mom and 2 siblings for the past couple of months while she finishes high school.
I have had straight A's all school year.
She is 2 weeks from graduating and plans to attend Miramar Community College and start a degree in business, all with the help of mentors she met here at the Safe Parking Lot.
They have told me, like, you're not going to know what you want to do right now, but going into college, you will figure it out. You could do different things to switch your major and stuff like that and figure it out what you really want to do. But I do know I want to help people.
You see their ability, their talent.
One of the mentors who helped Zora is Rita Schaefer, a retired teacher who has led a group of volunteers in helping children here with their homework and hope. They bring food, toiletries, and whatever it takes to get them where they need to go next.
Sometimes we come and the dear face that we're looking for has moved on, and we have no idea where they went because that's not our privilege to know. And they've moved on and up. And so, but the next family comes in and we go, okay.
Needing help is not necessarily people feeling bad for you or stuff like that. It's just people really want to help you. People genuinely really want to help you, so take the help.
That's Help Up that someday Zora Murray plans to pay forward to. MG Perez, KPBS News.
And volunteer groups interested in providing donations or their time can contact the Jewish Family Service. Email volunteer@jfssd.org. And here is a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. MDMA has appeared effective for PTSD in clinical trials, but there are concerns about the quality of the research. NPR's Morning Edition is exploring some of those concerns. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. KPBS Midday Edition is speaking with a psychologist to get some practical tips anyone can use. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.